You always have to have an encounter. You always have to create an office visit with those few steps that I outlined previously in order to have an encounter form. And you always have to have an encounter form to create a super bill. So per conditions, it indicates that you have to select the patient, and then from the patient that you pull up, in this case I pulled this one up and all you see are examples here, you have to choose one of the encounters that you've already created, which were created when you made the office visit. You have to choose one of the encounters to proceed in doing the super bill. What you see on the screen here is the first page of the super bill. And then you see the second page, third and fourth, and so on.
I have a question.
Yes.
What did you indicate here to get the super bill? Or what did you click to get that?
Okay, let's go back. So per the instructions, what you do is you go to the coding and billing tab. Let's go back there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to backtrack. And these are in the instructions, by the way.
Okay.
But this is why I kind of wanted you to look at the screen so you could see the picture of what I'm doing. Let's go back.
Sure.
Okay, so to this. So the way you get to this is by let's open this up. Great, it closed the document because it was already open. Just a minute, let me just pull it up. Okay, you have to find the patient. Okay, and the way you find the patient is through this tab here, Find Patient. Okay?
Yeah.
The second thing you do, as it is outlined in the instructions, I'm going to read it to keep from going back and forth. You find the patient, okay, once you find the patient, like I'm finding the patient here, you select the patient. And then, once you select the patient, you go to the Coding and Billing tab. And once you get to the Coding and Billing tab, and you pull the patient up again. Actually, you have to pull the patient up again. So
you have to do it again. Okay.
Yeah, again, I got these out of the book. So this is where we get this from. This is where we get this screen.
Okay.
Okay. Once so you have to, and this is assuming that you've already made the office visit. Once you make the office visit, after reviewing you click the patient, the encounter that you created the super bill from, that you created the office visit, it creates an encounter, and this is how you get here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And this is the information where you fill this information in. Where you get the information to fill this information is from the super bill. Now in this session, what we're doing is we're entering chiropractic care.
Okay.
Okay? And because SimChart does not have chiropractic care visits or fees, what we have to use is in entering a chiropractic visit, we have to scroll down to the office visit section and simply put the CPT code that is on the super bill. Let me close out of this so that it's...
Okay.
So there are a couple of things that we have to use in this case, and I apologize again for how slow it is. We have to use the super bills from our stock of super bills that we're using.
Okay.
This CPT code for chiropractic 97041 does not exist in SimChart.
Okay.
So what you have to do is enter it here. The fee, I hope I got the super bill, the code right, but the fee does not exist in SimChart either. 97014. I think I got it kind of turned around. 97014 is what I want. So this is what I have it as 97014. Okay, and because we don't have a fee from this fee schedule in SimChart, the fee schedule that I have embedded in the course is actually related to these mock resources we have. So the fee schedule for 97014 is $30, and so therefore that is what you would put in the fee.
Okay.
Okay, so what that means, again, happens several times in working with this program, is that you actually are required to be creative. This is the best that we could do, okay? And
that works.
okay, so again, and the fee schedule is located in session 9.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Right there. All right. That's session 8, but in session 9 I put it in its own folder.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where you have to kind of work with this, but once you get the hang of it, and I guarantee you after you get through session 9 you'll have the hang of it.
Awesome.
Because there's so much work and there's so many things to do that by the time you get to get through this session, you will have the hang of it. So here is the fee schedule.
I have a question.
Yes, I just want to finish pointing something out to Janice, and then you can go ahead and ask Lizzie. Or Izzy? Is it Liz? It's Lizzie. Okay, sorry, Lizzie. Yeah. Okay. These are the files for the demographics. This is the fee schedule, and these are the super bills and explanation of benefits. You know what the fee schedule looks like. The only appointments that you're going to be scheduling for session 4, for session 9 are Hidden Cities 4. Only these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 patients. Only these. These are the demographics. They're all on one sheet. Here are the super bills, all on one sheet. Patients. And again, the fees that you get that will end up calculating on the ledger, that will end up equaling the total amount that ends up showing up on the ledger. You get these fees from the Hidden Cities fee schedule, and when you see the ledger, it should actually all look the same. So okay, go ahead, Lizzie. Before I move on to the next segment.
I just had a general question. So the externship is 9 weeks for everyone?
It depends on whether or not they find a site for you.
Oh.
Or if you came in after being on a site, for example, for 3 weeks, and something happened on the site and they don't want you to lose attendance and be dropped, you might be able to get in the virtual externship until they find another site for you, so you don't lose time or attendance credit.
So what do we contact our school and they see if they found a site for us?
Well, what I would do is
I'm just wondering how many weeks of the online I'm gonna do.
It depends on, like I said. So if you let them know you need to let them know, because the reality is that I'm going to stop recording here. Can we take that up at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's continue. So these are the pages of the super bill. You don't need to do all of the pages. Oh, let me save this. Let me just say cancel. You have to save the first page before moving on, and you put the fee in. You move to the second page, and the only reason that you have all these pages is basically because you may, if you were using the information in the simulation in SimChart, you would have an electronic super bill that had standard charges in it. And then for week 3, I'm sorry, not week 3, but page 3, still the same. More of an opportunity for you to enter charges, but I have so much information in my head. On page 4 is where you get to finalize the super bill. So for this particular, I only entered one charge on this patient, but in reality, for that super bill, there's $160 worth of charges. And where you would enter those charges would be under separate field entries. After you, of course, you have to enter the diagnosis here per the instructions, and you would enter all of the different CPT codes in as many boxes as you have available. That's where you'll enter them, and you'll enter a charge for each one of the chiropractic CPT codes. And at the end of the super bill on page 4, you will have a total, although not in this case for the sake of speeding things up, you'll have a total that should match the total on the super bill. Okay, and you save it. Now the next part of this, and I know that this is different for you, but basically the same thing goes true. So once you completed the super bill, in this case I'm going to go ahead and complete all the questions on the super bill, because these are questions that are actually going to end up showing up on the claim. Whether or not it's created to employment, all of this, automobile accident, other accident, employment, all of these are on the demographic sheet, and you can actually answer them according to what is on the demographic sheet. And if that's missing, don't worry about it. But what you do need to be sure that you indicate is anything that has an asterisk here, signature on file, yes, and the date that we're submitting this, which is the 30th. And once everything is done, you save it. And once it's saved, you submit the super bill. Okay? And then from there is where you actually are able to create the claim. Okay? And here, you see here where this says submitted for, let's see if do we have 1030. It's not there, but I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show you something here. We have a claim, and what you have to do when you pull up the claim is you actually pull up an action. And in the actions is where you will scroll through every bit of information that you have here that has to be reviewed and completed, because what you're essentially creating when you're doing this is a CMS 1500, especially with the charge capture. Now the charge capture is where you'd be able to put, you would have another opportunity actually to create you'd have the opportunity to create another date of service or another claim or a claim that's based on the information that's on the super bill. I'm just doing this by memory, and I'm not sure if it's right. And we have a diagnosis there that's based on the super bill, and we have a charge here of $30. Let's put that there. And you can see it changes. Once you've done this part of it, you save it, you submit the claim, oh, submission, here we go. Gotta go here. I'm ready to submit the claim. You submit the claim. Oh, and it won't let you because you have to make sure that everything that is necessary is completed. Save it. Submit the claim. And the way you get your CMS 1500 that you have to print up is to print output claim. And there's your CMS 1500. And as I mentioned to everybody before, you can actually use this as the exercise that you're doing when you're doing this assignment of manually creating the CMS 1500. You can actually make it easy on yourself and use this information that's on the claim form to manually. As far as the explanation of benefits goes, and again, I'm going to just demonstrate this. Let's get out of here. As far as the explanation of benefits goes, the main thing that you have to remember about posting the explanation of benefits, and unfortunately I X'd out of SimChart, so I'm going to have to get back in. And we did review this, so if you have a question about posting the explanation of benefits, this was actually reviewed last week as far as what it takes to post an adjustment. And because the system is going so slow, and because it is 11:34 and I don't want to take up much more of your time, what I'm going to I'm going to stop recording right now. I'm going to put a pause on the recording. So on the coding and billing tab, as soon as it clicks, and you would pull up the patient. I'm going to just simply select this patient. And under Ledger is where you'll be posting the payments. Select the patient again. And in the drop-down menu, you will see all the items that are in the ledger. The reason that you see all these is because of all the times I've demonstrated with this patient. And for the thing that I wanted to point out about the explanation of benefits, and I pointed this out before, but it's good to pay attention to this, is that many times when you're posting the explanation of benefits, the amount of the submitted charge and the amount allowed are different. And so what that means is that you're going to have to do an adjustment in this column. So for example, for one of the patients, let's go to the explanation of benefits for an example. For this patient down here, for Trevor Toronto, the billed amount is $68. Right? But if you look at the explanation of benefits, what you see is the allowed amount under allowed up here is $25.39. And they didn't pay $25.39 though, they only paid $20.31. So what you immediately have to think of is what the difference is between the billed amount Okay, so the billed amount, let me clear and you guys can work with this. The billed amount is $68. Okay, the allowed amount is $25.39. So that means, what did you guys come up with a difference for that? Did anybody do the calculation? Anybody do the calculation? Let's try it again. The billed amount, how much?
$42.71.
Thank you. So the amount of the adjustment would be $42.61 or $42.31?
$42.71.
$42.71? Okay, I'm going to take that amount. You sure? Do it again. 68.
Oh, 42.2. Do it again.
So I'll do it. Okay, $68 minus $25.39. I have $42.61.
Oh, 42.61.
I kind of knew it because I'd done it before, but this is the amount that you would put in the adjustment column, but you'd have to put a minus in front of it. And then this is how you, and in a normal system, all the calculations would be done for you. But in the payment amount, you would put the amount shows as underpaid to provider. So for this patient, Trevor Toronto, the amount paid would be $20.31. Once you plug that number in, what you see on this line is a balance of $508. And if you look at the explanation of benefits, under coinsurance amount, which is the amount that the patient is going to pay, you see this amount. So in some cases, the patient owes nothing, but in some cases, the patient is going to have to, excuse me. But in other cases, the patient is going to have zero.
So you can check that to make sure your work is correct.
All right, can you ask me, what exactly are you asking?
Because you got 508 and it says it on the explanation of benefits. Can you look back on the explanation of benefits and it'll match, and that's how you know if you're right?
Right, that's exactly the point of the exercise. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. So and that's how you check your own work. Okay, just to make sure that you're paying attention to how the math is going. But as I said, in truth, in the field,